Hey guys, little quick tip for you today. For those in hot climates, especially like us, to extend your growing season into those hot months. There are things you plant in the spring and then in the heat of the summer they die out. But there's a couple of ways that I have found that you can naturally extend that season very easily. Of course, typically, the easy way is to throw a shade cloth over it, but they can be expensive and a little difficult if you don't have a way to do it. But this I found to be very easy. Whenever you have these arches, these grow arches that I can show you in this other video how to make, they're super cheap, super fast, super easy, last forever. They have survived tornadoes, hurricanes, everything. They're the strongest thing in my garden. But you can plant things on them that are able to handle the hot summer sun, and then plant things with them that are a little more sensitive to it. For example, on this trellis, there are some loofahs, and those loofahs don't care about the heat at all. So there are green beans growing up in it under the shade of them far beyond their typical growing season. In our grow tunnel, we have several arches lined up, and we did the same thing with tomatoes and cucumbers. The cucumbers normally would have phased out in the heat, but the tomatoes don't really care about it. So the tomatoes we put on the outside, the cucumbers on the inside, and they shaded them, and they grew for a lot longer. So you're basically creating a natural shade cloth with your vegetation. Another quick little tip is that there's a few places in my garden where we have some trees with small leaves. So in the springtime, when you're first coming in, those trees are bare from the winter, and I plant things under them. And then as the full summer comes and the heat is there, of course, they've put on all of their leaves, and so now they're acting as a natural shade cloth as well. So that's another tip too. And I put things under them like yellow squash, that they do good in the fall and the spring, but they kind of phase out in the heat, or zucchini, or even like pumpkins and things like watermelons, things like that. It doesn't really matter, which they can typically handle the heat a little better. But it's Louisiana. We have triple-digit heat right now. Pretty much everything is gonna cook unless they get a little bit of shade. So hope that's just a quick little easy tip that might help you to extend your growing season and still get a little harvest in the midst of the heat. Have a blessed day. I'm gonna show you how creating natural shade can extend your growing season in the hot summers. Oh, a bird flew out. There's a nest up there, if you can see it. But you see those green beans? There's green beans growing all underneath here. And normally this time of year in the summer in Louisiana, it's too hot and the green beans have died out. However, there are loofahs growing on this trellis, which have created a natural shade so that the green beans growing on the same trellis are still producing well into the heat of a Louisiana July. So to show you, just to give you a little quick glimpse at how well these plants that were started under the shade cloth are doing. Actually, these were already growing, but when it got too hot, I put the shade cloth on it and they continued to grow. And on this side, we have new plants that we started really too early, but they have a shade cloth, so they're growing beautifully. We have the exact same setup over there without a shade cloth. Let's see how they fared. And not looking so good. Some are struggling and coming up. Some are struggling and hanging on. But definitely not thriving like the other guys.